Where are my people? Hi, welcome. Come on in. Hello, hello. Let me get comfortable. Hi, friends. Happy Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Yes, it's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday afternoon. So excited to see y'all. Thank you for being here. So I'm gonna just get right into. I'm not gonna waste any time. Hi. Not gonna waste any time. I just finished filming a video for my YouTube channel and decided to hop on here and talk to y'all. Hello, gorgeous. Hi, people. Thank you for being here. So as you can see by the title, it says that your next level requires a new identity. Right? Oh, Glow kind said the title dragged me in. Exactly. I was sitting here. I was like, what should I title this? Your next level requires a new identity. And this is something that is so relevant for me. So everything that I'm saying, even if I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me because as I've been sharing in my posts over these last few days, I've been going through such a deep and powerful initiation. And I'm experiencing a massive upgrade to my identity. One of the things that I talked about was when I was in Egypt, just knowing that, like having that moment of recognizing that I cannot go back to who I was before. Like there literally is no possibility of going backwards. There is only forward from here. And so I want to talk a little bit about my journey, how this relates to your journey, and of course I'm going to be talking about my new immersion, which is the Selfish Bitch Initiation. It's a 21-day immersion that I just launched yesterday. That we will begin on January 7th, a 21-day experience with me expanding on the concepts, the archetypes, the energy, all of the amazing juiciness around Selfish Bitch and how utilizing this energy is going to catalyze you into your new identity. It's going to catalyze you into your next level. And so for me, what I've been experiencing, what I've been going through is just so much has shifted a lot. Let me just rewind back a couple of years because I know some of you all don't know me. Some of you are newer to my work or you're newer to my platform, just in the last few months. But so for those of you that are not clear on who I am, I basically wear two hats in this life, or at least professionally, I wear two hats. One hat is actress. I'm an actress. I've been an actress for over 20 years and I've had a lot of success in the film and television industry. And the other hat that I wear is I am a spiritual teacher. I'm an intuitive spiritual guide. I work very, very closely with women, occasionally men who come into my world, but mostly I work with women and teen girls to help women heal from traumas, up level their lives, uh, excavate the shadows that are holding them back from being in their fullest expression, take radical responsibility for their lives as creators, as the embodiment of the divine feminine consciousness, and really living from that place of deep empowerment. And so, when I say these two hats, I'm really talking about like two different identities that I've been they've been kind of not battling each other, but I have felt like a lack of resonance between these two identities, or like these two identities are mutually exclusive. And so, something that's been really challenging for me over the last few years is back in 2022, I was fired from a TV show that I was starring in. So I was starring on a TV show, it was a popular TV show called Run the World. And I was fired from that show because I chose not to take the COVID vaccination. And so that was this whole thing that just basically sent my whole world, my whole life into a tailspin. I lost my job, I lost my income. I was essentially locked out of my industry for over a year because all of the major productions at that time were operating under mandates. And so because of that, I couldn't work. I couldn't work. But thankfully for me, I had already been talking about a lot of the like political shifts and things that were happening, the spiritual shifts that were happening. I'd been making content about that for 2 years at that point and helping people, stay really grounded as they were navigating all of the fuckery that was happening between 2021 or 2020 and honestly still today, but just in a in a different way. And so I had already started preparing myself. I had started seeing the writing on the wall, and I had been praying to God about like my path and my mission. I knew that a lot of the things that I had learned about Hollywood and about politics, they just sort of like disillusioned me to the industry that I was in. And so I started asking for and craving, just the word that was really coming up a lot for me was freedom, freedom, autonomy, sovereignty, and then of course still wanting to be in service. How can I show up and be in service to the women who need me, to for the women and the girls who are here to receive my unique medicine? And so I started laying the groundwork for that. I started working with a spiritual coach who also is a spiritual like businesswoman. I started learning a little bit about marketing and just started sharing a little bit more about like creating little offers and teaching small classes and things like that. But I wasn't really going like full force into it. It was just like every few months I'd maybe put out a master class, or every few months maybe I would do like a little workshop, or I did like a little day retreat in Malibu a couple of years ago, and like I did my first international retreat in Costa Rica in 2024. So I was just sort of like dipping my toes in. I was like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I wasn't like fully committed. I wasn't fully dropped in, and was struggling. Like, what's going on? Like, I'm not making any money in my business, or I'm only getting clients every so often. Like, I'm not experiencing the success that I was seeing other people in that space experience. And I was really bitter about it. And if you know anything about human design, I'm a projector, and bitterness is our not self. Bitterness is what projectors experience when we are operating out of misalignment. And so I was experiencing bitterness and was just like, what the fuck is going on? you know? And it's been such a powerful initiation for these past few years because it's really forced me to get super clear around who I am and what it is that I want out of this life, who I'm serving, how I want to be expressed in my creativity. And it's challenged me to confront all of the ways in which I am not fully in devotion to myself, fully in devotion to my habits, to my rituals, to my practices, to my belief in myself, like whatever it is, like pick your poison. And I was being confronted with the truth of a lot of these things. And it's been very, very challenging to navigate that identity shift. And I've known both consciously and subconsciously over these last few years that me losing my job on my show and being locked out of the industry of Hollywood and having to really pivot and focus more on my mission has been a big part of my initiation. But I've been in such resistance to it because being an actor has always been my dream since I was a child. It's always been something that has driven me, and it's been something that I've been so passionate about since I was very, very young. And so it's very difficult, and has been very difficult for me to consider that maybe this isn't my path, or maybe this isn't my path right now. And what has become very clear recently is that even if that is my path, the way in which I was engaging with the industry and the way that I was showing up in my expression was just so much smaller and more limited than what I'm capable of. And the things that I have to say, my lens, the lens through which I view the world, my spiritual lens through which I view the world and through which I live my life, through which I teach, through which I guide, through which I, inspire other people, is it's so much bigger than what that world can give me. There's so much pressure to conform in Hollywood. There's so much pressure to say certain things that align with certain political frameworks or political ideologies. There's a lot of it's very easy to be punished for not towing the line in that industry. And that's something that I have experienced, and on a massive scale. I mean, I'm talking about going viral for getting fired and for the reason that I got fired, and being posted on gossip pages and in every major news publication, people.com, abc.com, Hollywood Reporter, Deadline Hollywood, like having articles written about me and thousands and thousands and thousands of comments from people about my personal choices, about my spiritual beliefs, calling me names, calling me selfish, calling me a loser, a moron, an idiot, all of these things simply because of a choice that I made that was honoring myself. And it just helped me realize that for me to be who I am and to be in my bigness and to be in my full expression, there isn't a lot of room for me in this industry. And I don't, even saying that, I want to be very, very careful because there are a lot of other people in the industry that are on the same wavelength and same frequency as me. I don't want to act like I'm just the only person who's like the golden child who carries this consciousness, but it's a lot harder to connect with people who are on that wavelength, especially when you're talking about major studios and networks who have all of the money and all of the power and have the power to destroy your career if you don't toe the line. And so for me, it's been a journey of realizing that if I'm calling in sovereignty, if I'm calling in freedom, then I cannot be dependent upon this entity, this industry to feed myself. I cannot be dependent upon a casting director watching my tape and sending it to the producers. I can't be dependent upon somebody else's perception of my talent to feed myself and to receive all of the abundance and all of the things that I had working as an actor. It was all dependent upon me essentially playing roles. Like you're playing a character in Hollywood. You're even not just on screen, but off screen as well. And the more you are yourself, the more you can be penalized. Not always, but it depends on what being yourself looks like. Because you can be yourself and still toe the line. You see what I'm saying? And so for me, the identity shift has really come from, well, what I crave is visibility, not fame, right? Like I've never wanted to be famous, but I've always desired visibility. And I've desired visibility because visibility is what connects me to my community. Visibility is what connects me to the people who need me. It connects me to the women who want my magic, who want my fire, who want my power. And when I say my magic, my fire, my power, what I mean is they're not wanting mine. What they're feeling is the activation of their own magic and their own power within them through the way in which I show up in my full expression. And if I'm not in my full expression, if I'm not showing up for myself and being devoted to my mission, then those women can't find me. They can't find me. And if they can't find me, and these are the people that God put in my pathway for me to be in service to them, then I am failing in my service. I'm failing in my mission. I'm not honoring my mission. And so the reason why I'm talking about all of this is because the women that come into my world are also women who have powerful missions of service. They have powerful missions of showing up in a way that activates remembrance and healing and restoration and incredibly powerful consciousness shifts within the people that are in their fields. And so we're all serving each other. We're all, as the saying goes, walking each other home, right? And the only way that we can walk each other home is to show up and take each other's hands and guide each other to that space. And so for the women that are coming into my world who want to learn from me and who need me and who I need because my service is nothing without the people that I'm serving. If I'm not being fully devoted to who I am and my bigness and my power and fully taking on that identity, then I cannot attract, I cannot magnetize the people who are meant for me. And it's the same exact thing for the women and the men also who are navigating being in their full expression as it's connected to their soul's mission. And so, hold on. I forgot I had my drink. Mm. And so, what I've been sharing here over these last couple of days is, and in my stories also, I've been talking about Egypt. I've been talking about Egypt. I've been talking about the transformation that I've been going through, the initiation that I went through with this journey in Egypt. And I'll be talking more about the retreat experience with Paula because she's the creator of this retreat that I went on. It's Take Me to EgyptRetreat.com. And if you're interested in going to Egypt, we're going back in April, so you can DM me about that if you're interested. And follow Paula, who I've tagged on my page because she's going to be announcing those new dates. I think tomorrow. So anyway, before I went to Egypt, I was invited by Paula. She asked me to come and facilitate. She asked me to come in and teach Selfish Bitch. And I was so honored and excited when she invited me. And then that excitement very quickly turned into resistance. I was feeling very resistant. I was just sort of like, oh, I don't know. Like, do I really want to go? I didn't even buy my plane ticket until it was like just under 2 weeks or about 2 weeks before I was set to be in Egypt. I hadn't even bought my plane ticket because I was still just sort of like I said before, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And one of the reasons why I was in such resistance and why I was feeling so 1 foot in, 1 foot out is because I knew that that experience is going to change me. I knew that the woman that I was prior to getting on that plane was not going to be the woman that was going to come home. I knew that there was no going back once I went on this experience. I didn't know what that was going to look like. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew deep in my bones. And I was afraid. I was afraid. And that's what the resistance was. The resistance is that fear of standing on the edge, standing on the precipice of something monumental, something that is so risky and life changing, and not knowing what the fuck is going to happen from that place. And it's so beautiful how I am able to navigate myself and guide myself through these types of experiences because I've been doing this work for so long. And this is the work that I guide women through. I teach women how to stand on that edge and look down into that abyss and just fall and trust and know that you are so held. You are so held. You're not going to hit the ground. You're going to float gently into the next phase of your evolution. I have a video on my page that I posted recently where I literally went to Moab, Utah and jumped off a 500-foot cliff. And I did that because I talk about leaping. I talk about jumping and trusting that you're going to be held. I talk about knowing that there's a safety net, there's a cord attached to you at all times that's always going to hold you through those big leaps and those big jumps. Really trusting yourself. But sometimes that trust is something that you can talk about, but really living it, really embodying it is a completely different practice. It's a completely different thing. And so, this initiation that I went through in Egypt, I remember being in the temples of these goddesses, of these matriarchs, being in Isis temple, being in Hathor's temple, seeing the Great Pyramids, seeing Saqqara, seeing all of these spaces, seeing these women etched into the hieroglyphs, like etched into this stone that has withstood 10, 20, 30, 40 plus thousand years of weathering and colonization and conquering and environmental disasters, and it's still standing. How can I stand in front of the creations of my mothers and not trust myself, or to think that I'm being too much or that I'm being too big? Like, how the fuck can I stand in these spaces and think that? Like, how can I possibly have that limiting belief around myself in a space like that? Like, it was just, it shifted me to my very core, being in Egypt, like to my very core. And I'm still integrating. I'm still navigating everything that has come up from that space. And I knew when I got back, I was like, okay, I have to go all in. I have to go all in. And I haven't been. And it's one of the reasons why I've been having a harder time, why this journey from being fired from my show has been filled with so many deep lows, like so many moments where I've just been like, fuck, like I can't do this anymore. It's just too hard. Like, how is it that I work my whole life for this thing And then now it's just gone. And like, now what? And it took a while for me to realize the gift, the gift that I was given, that I was being initiated into by having everything stripped away from me. And by having everything stripped away from me, it has given me the opportunity to build from a completely sovereign place where I'm not dependent on these entities, these mega entities, mega corporations to sustain myself. Like literally deciding I'm going to teach this and I'm going to offer it into the world and I'm going to create money like that. I'm going to create money from my gifts. I'm going to create money from my knowledge. I'm going to create money from helping women change their lives, from helping women rise into their power, by helping women understand on a deep cellular spiritual level who the fuck they are, because the lack of knowledge around self is one of the biggest things that's holding women back from being in their fullness, being in their expression, from activating their gifts, from calling in, magnetizing not just their community, but the abundance, the deep love, the divine union, the inner divine union, but also the external divine union with a partner. All of these things, this is what this is for. And so I'm like, I gotta go all the fuck in. Like, I gotta go all the way the fuck in. Like, there is no holding back anymore. There is no saying this is too much or this is too scary or what if nobody shows up, because you're here. Like, the women are here. They're around me. They're just waiting for me to be who the fuck I say that I am, so that it can activate something in them, so that it can catalyze something within them. So by me activating into my next level, I get to help activate women into their next level. And in order for me to activate into my next level, I've had to upgrade my identity. I've had to shift my identity from just Andrea, the actress model, which is what I was for so long, but Andrea, the fucking powerhouse, the goddess in the flesh, the leader, the healer, the matriarch, the woman who holds 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 years of wisdom in my lineage, in my blood, in my cells, and helping other women see that they are holding that same power within them. That's been the initiation. And so the big thing for me, and this is why I created Selfish Bitch, was because I remember, like, throughout my life being called selfish all the time, being called a bitch all the time, and being so hurt by that. Like, why the fuck are you calling me selfish? Or why are you calling me a bitch simply because I'm standing up for myself? Because I know what I want, because I know who I am, and I'm not going to let you tell me anything different. How are you going to vilify me or condemn me for that? And then I realized, well, they're going to fucking do it. So I might as well just embrace it. I might as well just embrace it. Because if I'm being called selfish, if I'm being called a bitch, that means I'm doing something right. And this is something that I've been helping women learn about themselves and understand about themselves and the lives that they're leading. And what they're healing from is, you, in order for you to be in your feminine energy, in order for you to be fully devoted to your mission, you have to be selfish. You must be selfish. You have to be a bitch. You have to be willing to look at somebody who is offering you crumbs and saying, abso-fucking-lutely not. Do you not know that my mother's built the goddamn pyramids and you're coming to me with crumbs? You're coming to me with bullshit? When I come from a line of women whose bodies, whose names, whose faces, whose prayers are etched into stone that has stood for tens of thousands of years. And you're coming to me with this bullshit? Absolutely not. And so this is the evolution. This is the deeper initiation, where when I teach this class and it's just like the women are so fired up and then they leave those shitty boyfriends. They set boundaries with their overbearing narcissistic mother. They get those job raises. One of my clients, she was working a job where she was very underpaid and very undervalued. And I let her know, it's like, you have two options. You're going to tell them that you either want more money and you're going to claim what it is that you're worth, or you're going to walk away. Because when you walk away, you are going to find another opportunity where you are valued. And when I tell you, my client sent me a voice note just a couple of weeks ago, it was right before I went to Egypt, sent me a voice note saying that she got a job offer $40,000 more than what she was making at her old job and $20,000 more than what she was initially asking for in that work. That's the type of up leveling that women receive when they shift into the identity of selfish bitch, of I'm a goddess, I come from a lineage of matriarchs, I will not accept crumbs. $40,000 pay raise in one fell swoop from taking my class and then working with me one-on-one. And so this class is like, I've had moments where I've just been like, oh my God, the name, it's like the name is too on the nose. The name is too intense. It's selfish bitch. The algorithm doesn't like cursing. Like, I have questioned this name so many times. I've even talked to ChatGPT about this name. And even ChatGPT was like, no, bitch, you're keeping this name. And I love this name because it is so activating and it is so triggering and it's so visceral and it's all of those things because it's so powerful. It holds so much weight for a lot of women. And so when you take something that has weighed you down, that has hindered you from being in your full expression, and then you transmute it, you reclaim it, you repurpose it for your own gain, magic happens because that is what we are meant to do as women. We're meant to take whatever is given to us and transmute it into gold. Like Nurturing Nova's Katya, her name on Instagram is Nurturing Novas. I love her so much. I posted her in my stories recently. She has an offering that she's promoting right now called Shadow into Gold. And that's exactly what you are supposed to do with these shadows, with these dark negative expressions, these projections that people throw at you, is you say, thank you. I'm going to just spin this into magic for myself. Oh, I'm selfish. Oh, I'm a bitch. Well, guess what? Now I'm a selfish bitch who teaches a class called Selfish Bitch, where I help other women become selfish bitches. And we are leveling up our identities. We're leveling up our income. We're changing our lives. We're no longer accepting crumbs. That is the transmutation that happens from that place. It's deeply, deeply, deeply empowering. Is this easy work? Absolutely not. It is not easy work. It is very, very difficult work, but it is the most rewarding work because after a handful of months of taking a class and then working with me, and then now you're getting a $40,000 pay raise, that is the reward for your investment into yourself. That is the reward for your investment into who you are and your mission and what you were designed to experience and live out in these beautiful feminine bodies that we've been gifted with as women. And so this next evolution, this initiation, when I got back from Egypt, the question was, well, what do I do next? Because if I'm going all in, if I'm going big, what's the thing? But I did not want to let go of selfish bitch. I'm like, no, there's still so much more to be done here. Like, a lot of people will create an offer and then they'll just move on to the next thing and then they'll move on to the next thing. And for me, I didn't want to just leave selfish bitch behind because selfish bitch feels like more than just a class. It's an identity. It's a movement. It's like part of my brand at this point. Like, I'm leaning full into this being a part of my brand because I see the way it changes women's lives. It changed my life. And it was something that I leaned into from a very young age and stuck beside, despite how difficult it is to be a selfish bitch sometimes, because it's not always easy to be a selfish bitch, but it's always rewarding. And so for me, the next piece was, okay, well, how can I take what I have that is really just scratching the surface, just giving like a little taste, a little teaser of all of the magic that's inherent in this. And this is where the selfish bitch initiation was birthed from. It was birthed from this place of, it's time to excavate. It's time to do an even deeper dive into this concept and give women a little bit more space to just breathe into it, to just like settle into it, to luxuriate in it. Because the class is very sexy. It's very empowering. Like, we laugh all the time in this class. It's so enlivening and enlightening. There's tears, there's anger, there's frustration, there's room for the entire spectrum of expression, but it's fun. It's fun to realize that I don't have to be in the identity of people pleaser. I don't have to be in the identity of the wounded eldest daughter who was parentified with all of the adult responsibility. And now I don't know how to experience love without overgiving to somebody. I don't know how to be in relationship with someone, whether platonic, familial, or romantic, without constantly being drained and siphoned of my energy. I don't have to hold on to that identity anymore. Those of you out there that are calling yourselves empaths, but really you just lack you lack spiritual boundaries. You have poor spiritual hygiene. You don't have to be in that identity anymore. You get to be in the identity of who you were when you were a little girl, when you were unstoppable before the conditioning of your family, the conditioning of your friends, the conditioning of society told you to shut the fuck up and be quiet, to be a good little girl. That's why I said that this is where the good girl dies and the sovereign woman rises. It's about moving out of that identity of people pleaser, and I have to be good to be accepted, and I get to be sovereign, and I'm going to be accepted by the people who fucking matter. Because not everybody matters. Does everybody have value just by their own existence? Yes. But does everybody matter to you and your mission and what you came here to do? No, they do not. And that's what this is about. And so I opened enrollment for Selfish Bitch initiation yesterday. I've already had women signing up. You can, if you're in this live and you want to hear more, you want to receive the link, just drop selfish in a comment and then you'll get the link sent to you right away, or you can DM me the word selfish and you'll get the link for the initiation that we're starting on January 7th, as well as the masterclass if that's something that you want to take prior to the initiation. Because the masterclass Selfish Bitch is a really great primer for what we're going to be excavating even more deeply in the initiation process. And so just a little bit of details about Selfish Bitch initiation. We start on January 7th, and it's going to be a 3-week or 21-day process where for those 3 weeks, we are going to be exercising the good girl is week 1. So this is all about understanding how to let go of this need for obedience. You were not born to be obedient. You were born to be a trendsetter, to be a leader, to be a visionary who doesn't follow the rules, who sets your own rules. So that's what week 1 is going to be. Week 2 is all about radical responsibility and radical power. Radical responsibility is one of the pillars of my work. And if you've taken a masterclass with me or if you've worked with me one-on-one, you know this, because one of the things that I always say, because we love to talk about the divine feminine, we love to talk about, the goddess, right? We love to call ourselves goddesses and we love to call ourselves queens, but you cannot be a goddess. You cannot be a queen and a victim at the same time. Those identities are not compatible. They are mutually exclusive. And so radical responsibility is about recognizing yourself as a divine creatrix who is responsible for everything in her world. So if you're experiencing something, you need to take responsibility for your role in creating or co-creating it. And then week 3 is going to be all about the rise of the selfish bitch. This is the integration. This is anchoring this archetype, this identity into your field so that everything that you call in will come from that place. So for each of these 3 weeks, we're going to be doing 2 calls each week. So the first call of each week will be sort of like a teaching call. It's going to be like me transmitting the same way I'm transmitting to you right now. That's the transmission. That's the lesson. And then the second call is going to be the integration hot seat coaching live guidance. So I'm going to give you all the codes on the first call. And then the second call is when you get to come to me with your questions. And then for some of you, I'm going to be pulling you into the hot seat and you're going to be talking to me about what's going on in your world. And I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm going to give you that selfish bitch energy because again, radical responsibility. There's no victims. We're moving out of victim consciousness and we're moving into sovereign consciousness. And so the first call for each week will be on Wednesday evening. I believe right now it's set for 6 p.m. Central Time. And then the Saturday calls, or the second call will be on Saturdays at 2 p.m. So those are going to be afternoon calls. And so Yes. Oh, yeah. So we have a sis from Germany. She signed up yesterday. And so we have women from all over the world who are going to be taking, my call at 2 o'clock in the morning because this is important to them. This is important for their initiation. This is important for their identity shift, their next level of evolution. And so, regardless of where you are in the world, even if you can't make it live, all of the calls are going to be recorded and they're going to be sent out within 24 to 48 hours after each call. So that if you can't be there live or the time zone difference is just too much for you because of your life, like we're all living lives, then you'll be able to get those replays. And I want to disabuse you of the notion that just because you're not there live, the transmission isn't as powerful, because that's just not true. Energy is energy, and you're going to feel and you're going to receive that energy whether you're in that space live or you're experiencing that energy watching it on the replay when you're just in the privacy of your home. So again, if you're interested in receiving that, comment selfish. I've already seen a number of you have already commented. There's some women that are here today that are already in the initiation, and the initiation starts as soon as you sign up. Like, I have my confirmation email where I tell you, like, it starts now. Like, breathe, drink your water, buckle up, baby, because shit's going to get real. And that's the beautiful thing about this work, is that when you make that decision to commit to yourself, to commit to your next level, just deciding and taking that first step, that first action of, I'm committing to this. I'm going to do the early bird because I'm a woman who doesn't hesitate on my desires. And even if I'm not currently a woman who doesn't hesitate on my desires, I am calling in the version of myself that doesn't hesitate on my desires. And so if I'm calling in the version of myself that doesn't hesitate on my desires, then let me go ahead and sign right up and start doing the work now to embody this next level, this next evolution of myself, and not hold back on my dreams, not hold back on my power, not hold back on my mission, not hold back on my service. Because at the end of the day, that's what this all comes down to, is being in service. This is why we have the gifts that we have. You empaths out there, you healers out there, the ones who maybe aren't making as much money in your businesses, you're undercharging, you're overgiving. This is for you, because this service that you have and the gifts that you were given to be in service, they are meant to be utilized in their highest expression. And so this is why I have the voice that I have. This is why I have the wisdom, the knowledge. This is why I've gone through the shit that I've gone through. This is why you have gone through the shit that you've gone through, so that you can be in service to others, not servitude. And that's the difference. A lot of you are operating from a place of servitude when you need to be operating from a mindset of service. So it's not overgiving. It's not showing up when everybody wants you to. It's recognizing what's meant for you and what's going to best support you and your energy. And then creating your offers, selling, and showing up from that place. That's what it's about. So I'm going to just stay on here for a couple more minutes just to see if there are any questions. If anybody has a question, drop it in the question box. There's a little icon at the bottom that has a question mark, and it's inside of a little chat bubble. Tap that and put your question there. And just for a moment, I'm going to scroll through to see if there are any comments or anything that I missed, because I was channeling, so I wasn't reading anything y'all were saying. Somebody said I'm still finer than antique china. Thank you. The sunglass kid. Thank you. Okay, so our German says, I can't read this name. It's Kopfkinoisten? Kopfkinoisten? Let me know. I lived in Germany for a little bit when I was a kid. I lived there for a few years, but I never learned German. So I apologize if I'm absolutely butchering your username. But she said, and she's joined the Selfish Bitch Initiation already. So big ups to you. Can't wait to meet you in the space. She says, I do feel on this threshold and your creation is palpable. It was a total yes, which rarely comes my way in a way of an offer. Wow. Wow. Thank you so much for that. And I'm so glad that what it is that I'm sharing and what it is that I'm transmitting just hit you like that. It hit you so deeply because it has hit me so deeply. This experience that I've had over the last few years, but specifically the last couple of weeks, has completely shaken me to my core. And it's been so powerful and so beautiful. And I'm kind of like looking in the mirror, like, who's that? Who are you? Oh, that's me. It's been so much fun. M. Dow says, now I admire you even more. Thank you, sis. I appreciate that. I think you posted that when I was talking about getting let go from my TV show. But then you went all in, right? Yup, yup, yep. So you're getting the projector bitterness. Glowkind says, I feel this so much. I feel as though you're describing my life experience. The descent in Nana, yes. And that's something that Katya's been talking about. She's been talking about Inanna's descent. But that descent is the initiation. That descent is where you realize how powerful you are. And like the myth of Inanna, I wouldn't call it a myth, but the story of Inanna is something that you all should really look into. Like start studying these goddesses and start studying their energy and start studying their stories, because their stories are parables or metaphors for you. And so Inanna's descent is a really, really powerful, very, very powerful story to activate you, especially if you are deep in the shadow work or you're beginning to dip your toes into shadow work, and it's scary. That understanding the value of going into those deep dark places and the alchemy and the transmutation that comes from that space is what this is all about. And that is dark feminine wisdom. That's dark feminine embodiment. A lot of people talk about dark femininity in terms of aesthetics, right? You see that a lot with femininity in general. It's so much of it is aesthetics or superficial performative ways of showing up. But dark feminine wisdom is about the shadow. It's about going into the depths, going into the darkness. The dark feminine is the womb. That is the womb of creation. That's the womb of consciousness. That's where all things reside. The good, the bad, whatever value judgments you want to attach, the light, the shadow, all of it comes from that space. And it's about facing head on, looking at, observing, and accepting those parts of yourself, and then reintegrating them back in with love, so that you're not coming from a place of being dissociated or disembodied because you're rejecting parts of yourself that are actually integral to who you are and what you came into this planet to do. Weed Alice is someone I've been working with for a really long time. She took Selfish Bitch the very first time I taught it, and I've been working with her since then. She says, that's how I found you and instantly followed. You stood up in a time where I also faced a similar dilemma. She's talking about the COVID shit. Someone said, thank you for choosing yourself. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for recognizing that. Okay, so I think I got everything. There's a few more, but I promised myself I was only going to be on here for a short amount of time because I want to go take a walk. I go walking every day and have been really loving that. Oh, wait, there are a couple of questions. Oh my God, is that Sage? Mr. Hugh Diffie, he says, did you know that I love you so fucking much? I can't tell. The profile photo is so small, but it looks like my boy Sage. All right, I don't have any more questions. So yeah, I feel like I explained everything really, really well. But if you do have, is that you, Sage? I don't think that is. It looks like my friend Sage, but okay, he's not saying yes. I can't tell. I can't see. But Naomi, you missed it, girl. You missed the whole transmission. But I'm actually about to get off of here. But yeah, if you have any questions, then slide into my DMs or drop a. Oh, it is okay. Thanks, Marissa. So I love you so much, Sage. I'm so happy you're here. Yeah, so drop a comment and in the comments, because I'm going to post this live to my page. So if you're watching this, once it's posted on my page, I'm here for any of your questions. I'm here for your comments. Let me know how what I shared today like activated you or awakened you or like just like turned you on and made you super excited. Comment selfish in the comments. If you want to receive the link to the Selfish Bitch initiation, we're still in the early bird stages right now. So the ultimate price is going, or the final price for this is going to be 777. By the time we start on January 7th, it's going to be 777. But right now, the early bird is 222. And that price is going to go up to 555 without notice. And then it's going to go up to 777 without notice. And so I'm pricing it this way right now with the early bird. This is for the women who are like, fuck yes, I'm not hesitating. I'm going to get in. I'm going to get all this value for $222, 21 days of this immersive experience with 6 transmissions with me, plus some little surprises that I'm going to be throwing in that I haven't even talked about yet. And so all of that right now for 222 before the price goes up. But yes, I thank you so much for being here. Like I am just like so fired up, so excited about this offering, about my initiation, my next level, my new identity. I'm here to help guide you into your next level and into your new identity. And for those of you who have trusted me in the past and are trusting me on this journey, I'm so grateful for you. And I'm also very excited for you because shit's about to get so good in your life, so much better than you could ever imagine. And I'm really happy that I get to be a part of it. And so, yes, I'm sending you so much love. Drop your questions, drop your comments, comment selfish if you want the link, send me a DM if you have any questions or if you just have something that you want to share. Everything that I do is for you all. I love you so much. And I will be seeing you very soon. Bye.